The S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100, that's what we're looking at here on the day. Now, the S&P opened up on the day at all-time highs, as you can see up here, breaking previous highs slightly right there. So that's SPY breaking highs and coming back down. Now, overall, if you zoom out, you're still in line with the upward trend. That's where we're at. Now, we can also see, too, our next line of support really doesn't come into effect, at least until we get back down to this range around 520, 520.6 roughly on SPY. Basically, we've kind of just been ranging. When you look at QQQ, the range is a lot more clear. Now, we were looking for some downside breaks previously. If you started to actually break below lows, that did not happen. As you can see, we're just kind of sitting flatlining. Now, again, if I just quickly delete some of these and we can just look at where we're at, you know, there's no reason to freak out or assume anything because number one, so we go all the way back to, you know, March 25th, but really we can go back down to March 20th. You've ultimately just been stuck in a range for the most part, just trading sideways in between 444, 447 and lows of 442, a 5-point range locally, right? You zoom out even further, you can really see that basically since the beginning of March, for the whole month of March, you traded in about a 13, 12-point range. Not too much going on there. And this is just on Qs. When you go to Nasdaq, it gets a little bit more clear. So again, that's what we're looking at right now. So if we want to get continuation, it's really clear what you need to see. Getting above the 447.5 range here on Qs, Nasdaq in particular, break or retest continuation would push us back into highs. But there's a few things when I look at the market overall that tells me when buyers step back in, tech and the Nasdaq will get all the love. And that's what we're going to be kind of talking about here today, but then also talking about what happened with a little bit of the sell-off and everything taking place over the weekend as well. Let's get to it. Now, first things first, going over some of this data. You had PCE on Friday, and it basically came out at expectations. And this is Powell, what Fed Powell had to say. New U.S. inflation data along the lines of what the Fed wants. Now, ultimately, what did he say? Along the lines of what we like to see, it's what happened with PCE. Right? There was nothing that was pretty surprising. It is what we were expecting. And even though the numbers show less of a slowdown than last year, you won't see us overreacting, meaning it's still going in the direction that they're wanting. Okay. The data last month were not as low as most of the good readings that we got in the second half of last year, but it's still definitely more along the lines of what we want to see, meaning that we're not just going to go straight down with inflation. It's going to have chop and it's going to have slowdowns in between the race as well. So that's what we're looking for. And again, he wants us to keep falling towards the 2% target. As long as we're making progress towards that 2% target, you have to expect cuts coming in the summer, even if they are small. That's what you have to expect. Now, what I will say, we go to Edgeful and look at some of this data as well. The link is down below if you want to check them out. Things are still very strange here, right? So if I go to Yahoo real quick, just to show you overall the numbers on volume as well. Today, 61 million, definitely more in line of what we're expecting from here. You know, if we look at volume overall here, volume tends to trend to the upside. Okay. Monday, you know, Tuesday rises, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday usually is the highest because we had the biggest breakout or best close. And that's how we've moved over the last year, roughly. And last week, everything was below 60 mil, so it was all trash. It was a slow weekend, so it makes sense. You know, 4-day week, holiday, etc. Makes logical sense. But when we go over to price action and we look at green and red days and how we kind of moved there, everything was inverted last week. You know, Mondays are typically our green day. It was red last Monday. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are typically red days. We had our only green day was, I believe, one of these days here as well. Thursday, high percentage of being green. It was red. So we had a lot of inversion and just a lot of surprises last week based on previous data. And today looks kind of more of the same. Mondays, typically we don't get that much volume and it's been really low. You came out kind of at expectations, but SPY did have a red close nonetheless. Even though you kind of had a nice opening, that's where you ended up closing the day, was still on the red side of things. And you're kind of flagging maybe even back down to that 520 level. Things to consider. So those are things that you have to be paying attention to. Now, what I would like to see is if volume follows overall structure and trend going back to the upside, because that would just at least tell me that things are headed in the right direction as far as the volume and overall buyer stepping in and out of the market. Like in the beginning of the year when we saw the dip, but the volume was so tragic and it was the OPEC stuff, that was weird action. We didn't want to trade that, right? Similar to last week. We didn't want to trade that. So I can only say that so many times. Now, we go over DXY, some of the things here as well. You had PMI data this morning, and obviously the DXY went bananas, right? And this was something that I was talking about. It's like, if you start to break back up, you start to get back above these highs, this is an area where you got to show a lot of caution because you can start moving back into DXY near 106. That's my next overall level here. So if we start really breaking up here, DXY will show some pain on the market, in my opinion. You go to the 30-year yield, and you also see we got back above our level. If this starts shooting back up, it will most likely cause pain for the broad market. Now, we've seen that we've been rejecting so far this level, 1, 2, 3. Now, is the fourth time the charm to break back down? We'll have to wait and see. But this is looking like it wants to pop up as well. If the 30-year pops up, historically seeing, this is when we started seeing the sell-off, middle of last year. When we look at what happened back here, when you topped off here, that's when the market bottomed out in 2023, 2022. So again, things that you have to pay attention to, things that I'm definitely watching. Worth mentioning as well, Bitcoin did take a dip in the pre-market as well, trying to hold up here. So I'm just trying to get a gauge of the risk on versus risk off indicators, because I will say risk off indicators traditionally, DXY, 30-year yield, are pointing to some corrections in my opinion. But then we look at something like IWM, Bitcoin, and what's happening with the overall markets, and you're not really dipping just yet. I will say that, IWM, small dip, but you're just at our key level, 212, 213. That's where we're at. Not really surprising us now, not really dipping just yet. So it's like, I'm easing on the brakes, but I'm not slamming them, and I'm definitely not going reverse trying to, sell the market just yet. I got to wait for those indicators to play out. So those are the biggest things right there. Also, too, we're on Twitter if you want to follow us so you can see all the updates and all the tweets. The link is down below. And sorry, I totally forgot. There are spots available for Discord. There's 13 this morning. There's probably closer to 5, 6 left. So just take a look. That'll probably be closed by midnight, so take advantage while you can. So that's the biggest things there. Also, too, I hate to do all the shout outs, but I have to. These are just sponsors of the channel. Lux Algo, if you want to see our custom indicators as well. I never show the one down here because I only use this for day trading, so daily recaps, it's not super necessary. But our volume versus sellers, that link is down below as well. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not supposed to, but there's still spots in Discord and take advantage. If you use code OD40, you will get 40% off. Just letting you know. You're welcome. Thank me later. So that's what we're looking at there with broad markets. Nothing too crazy. NQ, ES, take a screenshot if you need to for your key levels. You're sitting right there at 18.5. NQ, you get above 18.6. I believe you are going to all-time highs with ease. Again, market 18.6. That's where you need to mount. But you're holding, 18.426. You're holding 18.37. So again, you're holding your key levels. We're just range bound, doing absolutely nothing on NQ. And as again, you look at ES and you're just making higher highs and higher lows, the definition of a bullish structure overall. Worth mentioning. Well, I will say ES, you're kind of getting rejected so far at 5,300. You get rejected there. You probably come down to 5,274, then 5,257. Those are my two levels there. And Dow as well. We saw some green today on Nasdaq in the beginning, and then we saw Dow and ES get wrecked. This has kind of been the going theme as well. Nasdaq goes up, Dow, ES go down. It's kind of been ugly. We're not getting, a follow through on both directions. I hate to see that action, but it is what it is. Now, equities, again, got to get you in and out of here very quickly on the day. NVIDIA, I love NVIDIA. I love what it's doing, but overall, I tried to trade this to downside. I was waiting on this to break down today. We had the first initial breakdown here in Discord, and then we tried to get for the big one, because if you would have broke lows at 890, 891, you would have had a free fall into 884, then 876. But as you can see, you held previous lows, and you could never get that break and the retest, so I never got to get into it. So you ended up holding. So to go long on NVIDIA, you really need to get above 822, 820, or 922, 924. Above that, I think you're pushing back into 946. If the market bounces, if the Nasdaq bounces, I'm long on NVIDIA instantly. Okay, so I got to help you understand that. But yeah, until then, I'm scalping it, things like that. Going into Robinhood as well, one of my favorite long-term names. You guys know I started loading the boat on this. Discord, y'all saw me, start adding more of this position. And it's going to be one of those positions I'm just going to keep adding more of. I'm not going to lie to you guys. You're still making higher lows. You're still making higher highs. You still look great. I think dips are just opportunities. You zoom out here to the weekly chart as well. And I think it's crystal clear. If, IWM, if the market keeps going up whatsoever, their earnings, anything like that, I think you're totally illiquid into 26, 27, and then up to $32, $33. This is probably my trade of the year so far. We got in near 14. I think this thing is going to continue to print for me. Yeah, take advantage. Do what you want with that information. Target, I mentioned this one to you guys on Friday. I mentioned to you all the time, actually. So, yeah, it's on Twitter as well. So you got above your 200 SMA. You went straight to 181. Now, not surprising you're rejecting there. I'm, again, probably going to add more of this position. If you go to the daily, actually, let's go to the weekly. This is a massive, massive level here on Target. Again, massive key level near 181, 181.5. You mount above that, you're running to 199, 200, in my opinion, with ease. I think Target is one of the most undervalued names when you look at the broad markets. Costco, Walmart at all-time highs. Target, you still have, let me be exact, from where we are right now to all-time highs, you still have, yes, 51% roughly to go. And I'm not saying you're going to get there tomorrow. I'm not saying you're going to get there next year. But I still think it's grossly undervalued as far as that sector is concerned. And their earnings are phenomenal. Keep that in mind. One of my favorite names. The strongest names right now in the market are probably Amazon and Google, names I've been telling you about. Amazon ascending triangle, trying to break up. Even with the red day on SPY and, QQQ, Amazon still looks impressive. You pushed up today to 183. Again, you're illiquid into 185, 186. Keep it on your radar. Google, I've been telling you guys about this. I told Discord days ago about this one. If they chose to get into it, congratulations. If not, also, you played yourself, right? So Google, again, going back into this, I have been telling them for days, going all the way back. Let me go. Y'all can see I have to scroll pretty far back here. Right here. Google over 151.5. Mounting this could get a lot of action into 160-ish. Must watch here. Late dated positions, meaning you want to go dated on the contracts, not short term. Well, guess what happened? You end up dipping back to that touch and then rocketing up, as you can see. You ended up dipping back into 149, and then you went crazy up $7 from that level. Again, I just post this setup style, guys. It's not a quote unquote signals. It's not to make you rich, get rich quick. It's to show you things that maybe you missed in the market and show you the market through my eyes and Jay's eyes, hopefully, and give you an edge. If you're trying to find someone that you're going to blindly follow and, whatever, you might be looking for religion and not be looking for Tyler. Now, I'm all for, Jesus. He's my boy. However, I'm not following a cult leader that's going to tell me which stocks, or some religious leader that's going to tell me which stocks to buy. I'm trying to learn for myself, be self-sufficient. I don't want you to be dependent on me, guys. So take that into account. It looks great. One of my favorite names, Google, blasting up. What you love to see. Last name I'm going to mention, guys. I like Microsoft and a lot of these other names, but last name I'm going to mention on the day is AMD, one of the next must-watches. I've already signaled this one out as well. If you break him out 185, it is one of the best long opportunities in the market, in my opinion. On the daily, this is your key level. You have two key levels, in my opinion, here. 174.7, which you bounced off of, and then obviously 185, previous all-time highs. Or not actually... Yeah, that is previous all-time highs. So you mount above 185 here. I believe you're pushing back up to 194, possibly 200, possibly even higher. But that's what I'd be watching there. If you mount above 185, it is a long. Now, I'm not looking to go short on the market yet. Why? Because you're still making higher highs and higher lows. Until this structure changes, I am bullish. I got to say, right? People are like, Tyler, you're a permeable. Well, if the market's making higher highs and higher lows, what else could I be, right? Call a spade a spade. That's what I always say. Have a good one, guys. See you guys tomorrow. Good luck trading. If you have questions, comment down below. Discord link is down below. See you guys tomorrow.